Confidence is knowing that you can do something because you had the life experience that taught you how to do those things.
Okay.
Arrogance is thinking that you can do those things without having the life experience to ever put you in the position to have done those things.
In a relationship, women, in my opinion, should not be getting attention from men outside of that relationship. It is your duty to provide that attention for her.
I had a mental breakdown at 25, like full on, like ready to be Baker acted, crazy breakdown. That whole scenario is normal. You're going to get to a point in your life where you're like, oh my God, I should be so much further along than I am. All right, let's do the damn thing.
Before we do that, I appreciate you.
Why do you say that?
Just everything you do. The stress that you're able to handle, even though when it becomes too much and as you say, you bitch about it sometimes, you still do it and you endure it. And you're willing to take on more for me to be able to do the things I want to do in life. And
It's my job.
It means a lot.
And we are back.
We're back.
Episode 42.
42.
The continuation.
This is the man's perspective.
It is. Yep. Should we call it the mansplaining episode? So we recorded episode 41 yesterday, so we don't have a whole lot of banter to get into today. We don't have a whole lot of back and forth. We don't even really have a lot of updates.
I got new shoes.
You did get some bright pink ass shoes.
Look at that. Very nice.
I will say that there are a couple of things that I can touch on.
Okay.
The To Be Better Brew, the logo has been revised. Jeff was working on that earlier today, so that
I saw it on his live stream.
That should definitely be ready to go by Halloween. The To Be Better coffee should be live by Halloween.
Right.
ToBeBetterBrew.com will be the website. Mm-hmm. The logo's there. I did my onboard this morning with the company that we're working with. I have another meeting with them Sunday to discuss the website. I'm just going to pay them to do everything so they don't have to deal with the shit.
Okay.
So that's all completely done. The only thing that I'm going to have to do is film B-roll commercial stuff, which leads into the other little bit of news. I did speak to somebody today locally that is a photographer that wants to get into video work. And he is unemployed currently completely. So there's a possibility that I might be able to find somebody that does photography, B-roll, behind the scenes shots, video work, video editing, and an assistant all in one. And if that pans out, I'm going to talk to him on the phone tomorrow. If this fucking pans out, and we can get a local assistant that can do all of that shit, that's going to free up a lot of fucking time for us.
Is this somebody we know?
No, it's not. It's somebody that found me on Facebook and added me because he was looking into tattoo shops and thought I was a tattoo artist still.
Wow.
So I saw he takes pictures of a lot of car stuff. He's super big in the car community. And I went to the mutuals, and everyone that I know that's into cars is friends with this kid.
Okay.
So I messaged him and I was like, this is going to sound really shitty. And I really don't want to be that guy, but do you know who I am? And he's like, yes, I do. And I'm like, okay, good. Because that saves a whole lot of time. I was like, here's what's happening. And I explained everything as briefly as I could. And I was like, how much do you need to make in a year? To justify doing something. He's like, dude, we need to talk on the phone. I'm like, okay, cool. So that's a possibility. Fingers crossed.
What time tomorrow?
I don't know yet. He wanted to talk on the phone tonight, but we have this in poker afterwards. And I don't want to, I'm not trying to rush things.
I want to be a part of that phone call.
Yeah, I do too. I would like you to be a part of it as well. We have Rick Yee. I have such a hard time saying his last name because of my tongue. Mm-hmm. We have him at the beginning of October. We have all of the girls from the Discord. We have Matt Bell set up. Mm-hmm. I am working with the guy that I sent you today to try to get him down here on the 28th of October. And I reached out to somebody that we both know in our personal lives who is a child therapist for sexually abused children.
Oh, stop.
So I think she would be an amazing person to have on your women's segment for Patreon. And I reached out to her today to find out if she's listened to the podcast at all. She was my previous manager's wife from Black Sales. Did you know that? Did you know that she did that?
I did not know that she did that.
Right. And I don't want to say anything more than that because I don't want to put her out there in case she doesn't want to be on the podcast.
Right.
But I did message her today. That would be super fucking dope. I think you would get a lot of value in a women's segment from talking to somebody like that.
I would have to mentally prep for that.
Yeah. Well, you don't have to talk about the kids aspect. You can just talk about her job and there's a lot. She's a very intelligent woman in her field.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. We got the studio, a huge part of the studio done.
My apologies. I meant to open my email and it opened YouTube.
We started moving stuff around from place to place today and got a lot of that done. Got the computers disconnected. So in terms of like life updates, we're doing the fucking thing. We've been back from Vegas since Tuesday. Well, technically Wednesday morning at like 12:30 a.m.
Yeah, we got home
1
about
a.m.
1.
somewhere around there. And other than sleeping, we have not stopped. I have not stopped working. You have done a shit ton, but you've also had the kids. So you've had a different level of stress because the kids are up your ass.
Well, I've also been nonstop because
Right.
the kids being here and
Oh, I'm not saying you're not nonstop.
thing, okay.
I'm not negating that.
Yeah.
You have a different level of stress than I do.
right.
I would rather not be in your position.
Really?
Yeah.
I would rather not be in yours.
I love the kids to death.
Right.
I really do.
Yeah.
But like the whining and the nitpicking and the snitching on each other and the constant up your ass, like there's no fucking way I could deal with that. I would get so overwhelmed and be like, all right, they're yours. I'm leaving. But that's just me being honest. I don't do well with that. And I understand why they're being like that. They missed us.
Right.
So like it's I don't know. It's just a lot. We've had a very trying 72 hours.
Yeah. I've had over 50 women reach out for the women's
Oh my
segment.
God, already?
Yeah.
50?
Yep. I've emailed a couple of back. One of my best friends, Jackie, she's going to be the first woman on the segment.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
I got one email about my video, and it was for somebody trying to get a job and not somebody to be interviewed. And
you
that
made
was,
a video about interviews?
Yeah, I did. And it wasn't even, I was up for 30 minutes and then you were like, my email's not working. And I made it private and then I put it back live again after the email started working again.
Oh,
But
it might have been that you privated it and brought it back out.
maybe I'm probably just going to repost it, but
Yeah.
I just don't want to, I don't want to short our interview process, but your women's segment, because it's through Patreon, is more of a priority to me. Like I'm trying to get, if I had to only reach out to people for your segment, that makes more sense to me than me trying to just get people on for both of us to interview, because that's behind a paywall. So like people who are in Patreon who've been supporting us for months, like they
Right.
get that value. That's more important to me than YouTube is.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Anyways, the throne chairs will be here tomorrow.
I'm so excited about that.
Dude called and said that he can deliver them between 7:30 and 8 a.m. tomorrow.
Okay.
I also reached out to the guy who's making our poker table, who's going to make us a custom bar cart that should be here on Monday. Not this Monday, but the following Monday.
Okay.
So when you're doing your women thing and all the women are here and the guys are just kind of hanging out, we'll have a place to sit and a bar cart. So,
To have there?
yeah.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah. We'll just have to either go to the liquor store and buy new liquor or take the bottles that I don't really drink here from here or there. But
Do you think we could get a wine fridge?
yeah, we could.
I would like to have some wine for the ladies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to figure out your furniture still, and you need to do that soon.
So I actually have a Pinterest thing going.
That's not going to help me at all.
It's images to give you. Okay, I'll do an Amazon cart.
Yeah, or rooms to go.
Okay.
But you need to find things that are going to be able to ship and be here by then.
Okay.
And that's the biggest concern. So,
I'm enjoying how busy I am.
so am I.
It is. I don't have a lot of time to focus on my depression. This is nice.
Yeah. So real quick, just to plug everything, for the women who want to be on the women's segment, the email is peaches@tobebetter.com.
Correct.
It doesn't matter what you do. If you are in Florida, Georgia, or Tennessee, surrounding states, and you think that you could drive here to be on the podcast, that would be preferable. Depending on who you are, what you do, what your field is, if it's something that we think would be a huge benefit, we can discuss travel. We might be able to float the bill for that. I know that I have talked to a couple people where that might be a thing. And we can have those discussions. If you would like to be on a standalone man segment, or you would like to do a one-on-one with me, that option is there as well. It's chris@tobebetter.com. The biggest thing about what I just said is do not fucking email us relationship shit to those email addresses. They will get deleted.
Right.
We have tobebetterco@gmail.com. That's where the email screeners get their emails, and that's how that filters into what we're doing right now. Those emails are for business contact purposes only.
Correct. I was just about to say, men, as much as I appreciate you, this is for the women's segment. Do not email me thinking that we're going to have a private correspondence, because that will not happen. If I see a male name in my female-only inbox, I will delete your email without reading it.
Yep.
If you would like to have a conversation or advice given on the podcast, you can email us tobebetterco@gmail.com.
All right. Let's just jump into it.
Same thing goes for his email.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm not.
Just to clarify.
That's why we have screeners.
Right.
Because I don't have time to do that. I'm taking the To Be Better Co. off of my phone.
Yeah.
Jen and Zach have that locked down so well that I don't need to see those emails. The only reason I am still on there is because people have reached out for interviews, or they've reached out because they need like, hey, what is your favorite blah, blah, blah for art?
Right.
We have to get on a phone call with Brittany. Did you schedule that yet?
No, I have not. I need
to. Okay.
Um,
we need an assistant.
I'm thinking that would be dope. But I was also just thinking, is there a second way for me to activate an eSIM on my phone for a second phone number? Because I don't want to give out my private phone number to people.
We can go to T-Mobile tomorrow because I want a new iPhone anyways.
Okay. I would also like the new iPhone, just a smaller one. But I was talking about your Chris at
my what?
tobebetter.com, your email.
Oh.
It's not for private correspondence.
No, it's not. It's business only, and it's got to be.
Just to clarify, because people out there will try.
Right. Understand that I'm an asshole. And if you send me a stupid fucking email and it comes to an email that's for business, I'm going to berate you. It's been fucking clear. Like, we've made it very, very clear that that's not what that's for. I get annoyed real easy over stupid shit like that. So
just a disclosure. So
yeah,
when it does happen,
warned.
you've been warned.
I'm going to grab a soda real quick while you pull that up. Would you like one?
I would like a water. I think I put one in the fridge. I don't recall. Get it to match my shoes.
AJ, reach out to jughugger.com and see if they'll do something with us since you'll be editing this.
Oh, he will be editing this.
I'm not doing it anymore. I don't have time.
I'm glad.
Yeah.
Not that you don't have time, but I'm glad that you are feeling, I'm not going to say comfortable enough. I think that you are on the edge of the cliff right now, and it's either you're jumping or you're giving up editing, and I think that's kind of where you're at instead of that being comfortable.
Yeah, there's the comfort is definitely not there.
Right, so.
But it's a necessity. If I want to work on my business instead of in my business, I have to delegate those responsibilities, or I'm not going to ever be able to do the other things that we're trying to do.
Right.
So, and my goal is to let you do all the shit that you want to do and let me work on it on the back end. So, like, help you do things while I'm still doing all the shit that I want to do, because I don't want you to be under the stress that I'm under.
Can you handle that?
I'm doing it.
Right, but is
thriving.
Okay. I want to make sure it's
just
not too
know
much.
that if I'm like, babe, we're going to Sedona in a week, you need to figure out what the fuck to do with the kids. It's because I'm about to crash and we'll just take a vacation.
Okay.
Because even though Vegas was one of the most stressful vacations I've ever had in my fucking life in terms of not being able to connect to anything because of the Wi-Fi shit.
Right.
I was forced to take a vacation on my vacation, and I didn't want that. I wanted to be able to work while I was out there, and I couldn't. So now I'm playing catch up, but I guess it's a good problem to have, but you know, it is what it is. Those are some pink fucking shoes, dude. Holy shit.
I love them. Our daughter wants matching ones with me.
I mean, we could get them.
I would love that. And our son asked for blue ones.
He's really on a blue kick right now.
He really is. His whole outfit for picture day was blue. His little button-up shirt had dinosaurs on it. I'm very excited about those photos. He looked really cute.
Yeah. All right, let's do the damn thing.
Before we do that, I appreciate you.
Why do you say that?
Just everything you do. The stress that you're able to handle, even though when it becomes too much and, as you say, you bitch about it sometimes, you still do it and you endure it. And you're willing to take on more for me to be able to do the things I want to do in life. And
it's my job.
It means a lot.
And I'm motivated. So, you know, what did I tell you when we were in Vegas all the time? I said it at least 6 times while we were right there. Remember this. This is why we do what we do. This is why I'm willing to put myself through what I'm willing to put myself through. We're actually in a recession right now.
I know.
A depression. I'm sorry. We're in a depression.
Yeah, we are worse off than we were in the 30s.
The only difference is that there is still income being made for a lot of people.
Right.
Because there's a lot more opportunity for jobs than there was 100 years ago. But we are, by definition, in a depression right now.
Yeah.
And we were able to take a stupid vacation and go do like dumb shit and spend money and have a really fucking good time.
Yeah.
And it's because we've sacrificed the last 7 months of our life to be able to do that. So while a lot of people are struggling, like, it's important to remember those things. And like, yeah. I don't know. I'm on a big gratitude thing right now, and the only thing that I think that I'm lacking still is to pray before I eat.
Yeah.
That's my last, like, because I give thanks every single day for all the dope
Oh,
shit
yeah.
we have and like how good our lives are and stuff.
That's my end of day daily prayer is
Yeah.
I'm grateful for everything that I have.
I do it all day long.
Yeah.
Yep. Every time I see something, I'm like, damn, so nice to have that, or I'm so
A little
whatever.
thank you.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, it's very rare that I ever ask for anything. It's always I know I'm blessed.
I also think that until we find a church locally that I want to go to, I think that we're going to start tithing to Transformation Church.
Gonna start what?
Tithing, sending some money to them. Like, if we can
okay.
take a percentage of what we get every single check and just mail it off.
Okay.
I don't know. We'll see.
I like listening to them.
I do too. It's the one of the few sermons that I actually enjoy. They very rarely they put something out that I can't finish.
Right. I can't remember the woman's name, but
I know who you're talking about.
She is the only woman that I enjoy listening to preach.
Yeah, I know exactly who you're talking about because the second time we saw her, you're like, oh, I like her. I'm like, yeah, okay, we'll watch this one. Yep.
Okay, so back into the email. We are now on to the man's perspective. And his starts with moving in. As she stated, I asked her to move in with me fairly early. There were several factors that accelerated it for me. Firstly, she was living with her parents, and to keep in mind, not the biggest house, where also her sister and her sister's child live, so I personally felt that me staying there would probably be annoying and inconvenient for her parents, not to mention how awkward it would be.
Okay, so it doesn't make any sense because she can sleep at your house without having to move in.
So
unless he was talking about moving in with the parents.
Well, there's a following point as to why it was, in his mind, easier. I can understand how that would feel awkward. I wouldn't want to be sleeping over. Like, at a parent's house, they were young when they started. She was, 18 or 19?
Yeah.
20. Sleeping over with the parents there when we were probably going to cuddle, that's it. Knowing that the whole family is there plus a child, I would be a little bit uncomfortable. That's a lot to take in.
But if he had his own place, why would he be going over there anyways?
Right.
And if she's old enough to stay gone for the night, just go stay the night there.
Is that the end of your point? Mm-hmm. Okay. Secondly, we both live in suburban towns on the edge of the same city, and neither of us have a driver's license, nor is there a direct mode of transport between the two towns.
I'm going to be real blunt.
Okay.
So basically what I'm hearing there is that he asked her to move in so that he had in-house pussy. Tell me I'm wrong in that. Because it's easier to fuck because she's here than having to travel across the town.
And you don't have to worry about family here and
right.
Yeah.
That comes across super scummy to me. Real shit. Like,
yeah.
Why? How are you in your 20s and don't have a driver's license?
I knew. Excuse me, Jesus. I'm gonna be honest. I could count on one hand how many of my friends after graduating high school didn't have their driver's license. And I didn't have a lot of friends. So I did know a couple of people in their early 20s who just didn't have their driver's license.
I couldn't fucking live without a driver's license. The freedom that comes with that is too much.
Right.
That might have been a little harsh with the whole in-house pussy thing, but that does not sound like a reason to move in.
Right. At that point, it's still the courting phase, in my opinion.
Right.
I can understand the uncomfort to it. I would rather go over there, meet her family, get the feel of things. If I don't get along with the parents, okay, I'm gonna back off a little bit. This might not be the move for me.
Yeah. I don't know. That just doesn't seem right to me. I get they're young, but move in, it'll be easier to see you if you live here kind of shit. Like, that just doesn't, I don't know.
Okay. This meant that meeting in the city was both financially and time-wise rather expensive. Since I lived alone in my own apartment, it seemed natural to invite her to move in with me. I had nothing to fear, and further, it would give us a better chance to get comfortable with each other, see each other more, and also benefit us both financially.
So it was a financial thing.
Yeah, I think it was a financial thing and a convenience thing.
It's not the right reason to move in with somebody.
It's really not. I would never, ever move in with anybody after 2 months of knowing them. You do not know their habits. You don't know the way they live. You don't know if they leave dishes in the sink for weeks at a time.
Yep.
I had a roommate who kept a litter box. So we had a 2-bedroom apartment. And the person I was with at the time, we had the master bedroom and the bathroom. And the roommate had the separate bedroom and the guest bathroom as his. And he kept his cat's litter box in there. His cat, every time we would use a litter box, would kick the litter out of the box.
They always do.
He never cleaned it. There was cat shit all over the floor in there. Like, people could not use that bathroom.
It's disgusting.
If I had known that that person lived that way, there would never been an extension of.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's compare the two here. They're both in the wrong on the moving in.
I agree.
Okay.
I definitely agree. Also, lesson learned.
Yep.
In terms of the X clothing in the drawers, I didn't own a lot of clothes back then, as usually things lost. Oh, Jesus. In terms of the X clothing being in the drawers, I didn't own a lot of clothes back then, as usually things last long for me, be it clothes, electronics, or furniture. So I had no inherent need to make more room for my clothes or to fully sort through.
Called that.
Yeah. Meaning that, yes, there were some items of clothing at the bottom of the drawers from a while ago.
Yeah, I called that.
I believe that.
Yeah.
If they were at the very bottom drawers of the dresser, he has no need to go in there. He probably forgot about them.
I have 3X clothes.
You do.
I have pants that are 44-inch waist.
Yeah.
I just don't ever think about that shit. Mm-hmm. So like it's kind of all over the place. That's just the way we are. I have things in dressers that like I don't even think I've opened those dressers. I know that I haven't opened the bottom 2 drawers
Of your dresser?
since I moved back.
That's wild. I know what's in those drawers.
Yeah, well, it's because you put shit in them. I don't have a reason to.
Yeah.
So.
I know something you don't know.
Yeah. That's funny.
I love that. That just coupled with the fact that you didn't know whether or not we had salt and pepper shakers.
That video was funny.
That was really funny. I was sitting in my car dying when I watched that.
Everybody's like, he could have just called you. And I'm like, yeah, I could have.
Right, but that's a cute, funny moment.
Right.
Fuck you guys.
I really was looking for that salt and pepper for a hot minute.
Yeah, we don't own a salt and pepper shaker.
Which is funny.
I season my food so perfectly, there's no need for you to go and touch it up.
Also, the comment that you left on the TikTok video follow-up was definitely hidden by TikTok. I've scrolled through there 3 or 4 times. It never got posted.
That's crazy.
It's because you called me a murderer on it.
Yep.
Yeah, because the broken spoon thing.
It's so sensitive. I would be absolutely devastated if that
know.
spoon was broken.
I know.
Like, I know you would never do it on purpose, and
why
I
I'm
would
fuck
never
with
be
it.
mad at you about it. My soul would shatter just a little bit. Just, and like I said, once a year. It would never be the same time of the year either. Might be Christmas morning.
Let me just ruin Christmas. Hey, remember the time you broke that thing I loved?
Oh my God, babe, this gift is so perfect. I've been saying all year that I wanted this. It's not spoon shaped, but it works. That's so fucking petty.
It is.
Oh man.
I kind of want to break your spoon just so that we can have that joke. How petty is that? I'm kidding. I don't want to break your
I would
shit.
take back all the booty pictures of
Oh
me.
man, don't do that. Don't even threaten that. That's not funny. That's not funny.
Yeah, neither's my spoon. I love that the things we do is just removing little bits.
Yeah.
It's not super vindictive shit. It's just, oh, you like looking at that? Okay. You have the real thing in real life. You do.
Yeah.
I'm just going to take the picture. I'm kidding. I would never do that. I'd be more likely to put glitter in your Mercedes.
Yeah. We live way too close to the Everglades for you to be doing shit like that.
What a way for me to repay the universe for my life, though. Just paying to the ecosystem.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would actually be at peace with that.
I don't think so.
I would. So back into the email, texting that one time to ask my ex out for a coffee. That's all, nothing more. As we both have discussed several times between ourselves, was a silly thing to do. I'm not sure why I did that. Was it because our relationship was fresh and was semi trying to keep the door open if it didn't work out? Or was it wanting some closure or just wanting to retain a friend? I can't say for sure as it was so long ago.
And all of those are valid points. And they're honest.
They are very honest.
Still not right.
The semi trying to keep the door open is not right.
No, but it's honest. That's what I'm saying. Like,
Right, that is honest.
but like I said, yeah, it's still not right.
The just wanting closure, I can get that. That final, like, hey, I'm talking to somebody else. I'm really moving on with things. And just wanting to retain a friend, there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. Like we said in the woman's perspective of things, there is absolutely nothing wrong with maintaining a relationship with somebody who you have spent time with in your life.
Right. A lot of people are going to have a disagreement with that because of your own jealousy and insecurities, but I believe that.
I agree. But I've said several times that I'm sorry, I shouldn't have, and I regretted that decision. Moving on to the friend.
Hold on, before you move on, I'm curious if she brings it up to him a lot.
Oh, I hope she doesn't.
Right, because it sounds like how did he just word that?
He said, I have said it several times and I'm sorry.
Right. So is it safe to say that it sounds like she brings it up quite a bit?
Yeah.
Or maybe he just apologized a lot after it happened. But it's still a problem because she brought it up to us in an email. But like if it's a continued thing after 4 years and it's still getting thrown in his face, you don't do that.
Especially during arguments.
Right, you don't do that.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, so moving on to the friend portion who purposely went out of her way to try to get men's attention. We have known each other since I was 20, so about 6 years at that point. Before we get into that, so that friend had admitted to his current girlfriend that she does go out of her way because she likes attention and she specifically wants it from men, so she dresses a certain way to do that. Mm-hmm. As a man, if you are trying to maintain a friendship with that person, I am 100% going to assume you want to fuck them.
Yeah, I would too. Did she say that? Never mind. I can't remember if she said in the first email if the girl specifically said that she doesn't mind if it's coming from married men or something like that. But
no, she didn't say that.
Okay. That was only yesterday, and I'm already forgetting.
You are.
Pieces of it.
Yeah. You are 100% the company that you keep.
Yep.
And if you as a man are maintaining a relationship with a woman like that, yeah, it just rubs me the wrong way. It gives me the ick. The way that, for example, as an extreme, if one of your buddies is a rapist and you maintain a friendship with that person, you are condoning their behavior.
So 2 things.
Okay.
We always say that. You are the company you keep.
Correct.
Somebody sent this in the Discord the other day, and it's Proverbs 13:20, and it's walk with the wise and become wise, associate with fools and get in trouble. So it's biblical, right? And that's the New Living Translation. Obviously, it's different if you do NIV or whatever, but...
All right. So into the email, they said that he said he's known her since he was about 20, so 6 years. We have played together in the past and seldomly met up to chat about life, but we hadn't talked or met for about 2 years at this point. We weren't alone. There were also 1 to 3 other of her friends and the voice call and the game of us for 99% of the time. So was it men or women? Because if you're playing with 4 women on a PC game, I 100% view that as you are just now giving 4 other women your attention and your girlfriend's sitting in there waiting for you for 4 hours.
Do you think that do you think that's the same thing as playing one-on-one games? Because I got to be honest, it wouldn't matter if he was playing with four other dudes. If his girlfriend is waiting in the other room, she's waiting in the other room.
Yeah.
He's giving the attention to the game regardless.
I think there is a sexual thing there, like a sexual tension or energy. That girl admitted that the only reason she plays PC games is because she wants attention from men.
Right.
So if she's...
I meant in the group setting.
that's the way that she plays, and she's having 4 of her other friends play with them, and that's all of their intention, and he's satisfying that need for attention for 4 women at once, that's a problem.
Yeah, I agree with that.
It's different when he's playing with a group of boys. Unless it's all gay men vying for attention. Then I would view that the same way. That's fucked up.
Yeah. Do you think that people do that in groups?
Women, yes.
Like more commonly than not?
More, what do you mean more commonly?
Well, I've never experienced any of that shit in a video game. Mm-hmm. Like when I've ever played video game, it's been with people that I know in real life that I'm like close with.
Yeah.
And we would either drink or get stoned and play video games and be stupid. Like there was not, so I don't understand that mindset. But I would think that if there was 4 women in a group chat, I couldn't imagine all 4 of them being very flirty with the dude at the same time. Like maybe they are. I don't know how that works, but that's what I was asking, because if it's a one-on-one voice chat and they're playing a game with just the 2 of them, that's a very intimate thing versus playing in a group of 4 where you guys are running raids and, you know, capture the flag or whatever the fuck it is that they're playing. You know, if they're running around Minecraft just fucking giggling and being stupid together, that's a very different thing to me. Mm-hmm. But I guess I'm trying to understand it because I don't get it. It just doesn't make sense to me. Like that whole scenario doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Even his explanation of all of it, because we know that the girl flat out said that she does it for attention.
Yeah.
His excuse is irrelevant.
Correct.
Especially if he knows that she's doing it for attention and continues to do it.
I don't know. I have also seen women who do that kind of thing, play PC games for attention from men, get super pissed off when other women try to play with them. Like, I have seen videos of Twitch stream, like the uwu chicks, put other women in like a private chat on Discord, like away from the men, and be like, you need to get the fuck out of here.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Do you think that comes down to money? Or do you think that comes down... It's got to come down to money. Because on Twitch, like those girls are playing with their tits out, trying to fucking get dudes to give them subs.
Yeah.
And to donate, or whatever they call it on Twitch. I don't Twitch. Mm-hmm. But I've seen those girls. All those female gamers are half naked just to get neck beards to get in there and fucking give them money and interact with them. Like,
Yeah.
I've actually seen behind the scenes studios of girls who do that, where they have a room dedicated in their house, and it has nothing to do with the rest of their house. It's completely fake.
Yeah.
They've got like Grogu in the background and like Lego toys and Funko Pops, and like it's made to look like the nerd community, and that they don't even play video games. The girl just it's like a fucking PG-13 OnlyFans. And I've seen that. So like, I know that that's a thing. I guess I don't get it. I don't understand. I don't get it.
I don't get it either. That falls into, I don't know, I view that as selling your soul a little bit.
Yeah.
Like having the whole set built and it has absolutely nothing to do with the rest of the aesthetic of their house because that's not who they are as a person.
Right.
Holy shit.
That's the thing. Because there's a niche. And there are people out there who are very good actors that can fill that niche, and they make a ton of money doing it.
That's crazy.
I have seen female gamers on Twitch that are legit gamers that don't have the following as the same girl that sits in the chair like way back away from her computer. You know that she can't even touch her keyboard and mouse, like,
right,
because she's got to get enough of her body in the shot. She's not playing, she's just talking the whole time. They have a huge following where the people who are actually good at video games don't have one at all, because that's not why the men are there. I talked to Sean about this in the gym the other day. Because we have people in our personal lives, we did have people in our personal lives who wanted to be streamers.
Yeah.
And do the video game thing. And like, I had to always explain to these people, the ones that I talked to, that you need a niche. It doesn't matter unless you are super fucking good at video games, you're not going to get that following. Even if you are super good at video games, you either need to be attractive, like an attractive man, or you need to have a funny personality, or a community of shit talkers, or something that's going to make people be entertained, because watching people just get kills on the internet's not fun. Like, that shit gets old, which is why TikTok kill streaks have become so fucking popular, because it's a 30-second thing. I don't have to watch you play for 5 hours.
Right.
And I've tried to explain that to people. Like it takes a special thing to make it popular in that market. That market's smaller than the podcast market. Like,
yeah,
I don't know.
I had someone that I dated try to push me hard into doing the Twitch streaming shit.
Yeah, because you would have made a lot of money doing it, but you would have been one of those girls.
It made me uncomfortable. Like I'm not that person. I don't want to. I don't know.
We joked on the plane back from Vegas about how much money we'd make if we ever did OF.
Oh, we would make a fuck ton of money.
And though that's funny, it is funny to me because I know that there's no way in hell that we would ever do that.
Right.
Like even in the event where we were super broke, I would go back to day labor if I had to. Or I got to be honest, I would sell drugs before I sold my body.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot more honor in the dope game than there is in OnlyFans.
I would make you sell drugs before we sold our bodies.
I just don't know. I don't get it. I don't understand how you're going to give. Anyways, let's get back to the email because I'm going to rant about that for hours.
Okay. And sure, we were making jokes and laughing at each other, but I don't call it flirting per se, at least from my side. Okay. So you might have thought that you guys were just joking around and being buddy-buddy. Women will take anything as a fucking in. They really will. There are fucking snakes out there.
Men will do the same shit though.
Right.
I think that's an excuse.
What?
Can you read it again? Because I think that's bullshit.
And we were making jokes and laughing at each other, but I wouldn't call it flirting per se, at least from my side.
Okay. The fact that the other friend flat out admitted that she was doing it for the attention negates what he just said.
Yeah.
You can't make that argument and go, well, from my side, that wasn't the case when she's like, yeah, it was. I was getting attention from him.
Fuck.
Bro, she told on you.
She did. She really did. Yep. As that was not the first or last time she had gone through my computer, phone, social media, I was feeling as though I had no privacy left or no separate part life. Sure, I probably overreacted at that point, but I just felt that I needed something that I didn't have to detail out with full history, messages, and thoughts.
So that's a catch-22 in itself because I understand that want for privacy. It's no different than me not going in your purse.
Yeah.
You could have love letters in there from another dude. I would never fucking know. It could be in broad daylight in that purse, kind of sticking out the top of it in an envelope. Never fucking know. I'm not going through your purse. Mm-hmm. So I understand that sense of like independence. Like we're still kind of like separate in that aspect. But I leave my phone open all the time, and I leave my Facebook open and Discord, and like, I'm not trying to hide any of this shit. I open my phone in front of you a lot, and like, you're like, who's that? And I'm like, I'll have to explain myself. There's nothing wrong with that, like, especially knowing the past that we've both had. So for you, like, we had somebody message me personally about getting their daughter's ears pierced the other day. And while we were in Vegas, I opened my thing and you're like, who the fuck is that?
That's not what I said.
You didn't.
Right.
You were like, you said her name. I was trying to avoid saying that, but I was like, I was like, oh, that's so-and-so. She's a client friend, but not a friend. I don't know how to explain that, but she wants her daughter's ears pierced. I told her to message the piercer instead of messaging me because I'm not involved in the studio anymore.
Right.
But she's been around the tattoo studio since we opened. So like I have a rapport with them, but they're not like...
Right.
But I didn't get defensive. And I'm not mad that you asked me who it was. And I'm clearly not trying to hide this shit as I'm opening my phone while you're looking at the phone.
Right.
I wasn't like, hold on, let me open it.
Yeah.
See? You know what I mean? I don't know. I think that there's a difference between intentionally hiding shit because that changes the trust.
Right.
Right? So like we've always said that when you feel the need to go through someone's shit, that trust is gone. The relationship is pretty much over at that point.
Yeah.
The lead up to that is you walking by and me going.
Right. I'd snatch your phone out of your fucking hands.
Right? Or every time my phone goes off, I'm like, I don't know what to talk about. My phone didn't go off. You know what I mean? Like
I've actually had that happen to
that
me.
kind of weird energy would absolutely make a distrust. Like
Instant alarm bells.
Yeah. So, and then you wonder why people want to go through your shit. Like,
Right.
you've given them reason to do that. So,
I want to you gave an example. I want to give an example of an interaction like that. So I have my phone connected to my iPad. All of the text messages I receive on my cell phone come through to my iPad.
yep.
And I don't have everything, all of my contacts and stuff are saved to a certain email, and I don't have that email logged into the iPad. So when phone numbers pop up, it's just the phone number. It's not a contact
Right.
name. And the other day you said, hey, I noticed you got a text message and it said this.
Right.
And I was like, oh, it was so-and-so. And I actually opened up my text messages and I showed you the conversation.
But I didn't ask for that.
No, you didn't ask for that.
That was an act to show.
Right.
My phone just vibrated. I shouldn't have thrown that.
Right. You didn't ask for that.
No.
I did it the same way that I asked, oh, who's so-and-so? And you're like, oh, it's this person. And you opened up the chat and you showed me.
Right. Because we're trying to establish and maintain a trust.
Right. I don't want there to be even like fucking the width of a penny
Right.
doubt.
Yep.
So I will 100% show you the conversations. And
Do you feel like you have to explain that when I'm asking about it, or do you just feel it's a normal conversation? Do you feel like I'm challenging you? Like, who the fuck is that? Because that's
No.
never the case. Like,
no, it's oh, it was so-and-so.
right.
Let me pull it up just to make sure. Yes, it was that person. Here's the message.
Right. So he okay, this is a really good point that I think is relevant to the conversation. I'm sure something a lot of people have never thought of because I didn't until just now.
Okay.
We take a 3-hour conversation and make 1 minute to 1 minute and 30-second clips to stick on TikTok.
We do.
And every time we do that, things are pulled out of context to a degree, no matter how complete we try to make the clip. Things are going to get pulled out of context because you're missing the rest of the conversation.
Right.
Or the lead up or the after, whatever. So when those random messages come through, random text message, random Facebook message, or in the case where I saw the iPad, the message said something like, I'm ready when you are, or
Yeah.
some shit like that. It was a lunch with your aunt. I don't fucking remember.
It was a
what it
FaceTime
was.
call we were going to do.
Right. So when you see that little bit of message and you don't see the messages that were sent prior to that,
She meeting somebody?
right, it could very well look sketchy as fuck.
Yeah.
And that need to have a back and forth and to try to understand what's going on is so much healthier than being like, let me see your phone.
Right.
Right.
Or mind your business.
Right. Because now there's a whole lot of difference there. So when you understand that things are absolutely taken out of context, those conversations are never from a shitty standpoint.
Right.
So when you ask me like, who's that? Or what did that say? I don't give a shit.
Right.
The worst that's going to happen is you're going to be like, I don't like that person. And I'm like, cool.
Yeah.
Block. I don't like that person either. Fuck that bitch. Like,
Yeah.
I don't get it.
You know, it could also open up a new conversation. Like that person, I'm going to call her Sam. Her name
Okay.
wasn't Sam. But I was like, who's Sam? And you're like, oh, Sam is so-and-so. It could have been somebody from your past, a childhood friend who reached out to you. And you have so many fucking things on your mind. You were probably at one point 100% excited to tell me about it. And then 50 million things came through with the tattoo shop and the studio and the podcast. That me asking, oh, who's Sam, suddenly triggered that flood of memories. And oh my God, it's this person who I knew when I was 10 and this, and that. Yeah. So it is never a shitty thing. It is literally an inquiring question. You've never mentioned this person. So
that's actually not a stretch to say either.
Right.
With the busyness of things, because that happens a lot.
It does.
So
there
not
are
necessarily
times,
in the conversation aspect, but the
right.
forgetting.
There are times where I learn something the same time 50 other people learn it.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
It's just the way life goes sometimes. But there's also there's a difference too, because when I'm super excited about something and you're right there, I can stop the world and we can have that discussion. But when we're apart and I'm thinking, okay, I need to, when the thing broke and I sent it to Discord, I actually texted it to you first and then posted it to Discord immediately afterwards. Cause I knew that if I didn't, I would forget. Mm-hmm. And you're like, I saw it in Discord already. I'm like, damn, I texted it to you first. Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay, cool. There was no reason to, cause you saw it. That was the whole point of it.
Yeah.
But to have an argument over that, or to be salty on either of our parts because you didn't get it sent to you first, which it did, it just didn't go through right away. Or if it was that you were salty that I sent it to Discord first, both of us could have had issue with that conversation. There's no point in that.
Did you view that as me being salty?
No, not at all. But people,
I was about to say that's not how I meant it.
Could in text messages.
Yeah.
If there was something that you felt I should have shared with you first, and I posted it to Instagram, and you were like, "Yeah, I saw it on Instagram," and in text message, that could read as a,
Right.
you should have fucking sent that to me first. That could also be a cognitive bias or a negative bias based off of my past experiences and personal life. That's, you know what I mean?
That's how you interpret it.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's perception, which is why I say your perception is reality. So it's wild to me that people get so hung up on certain things like that, and they just don't think to ask the questions.
Yeah.
They want to argue first.
Yeah, I would rather ask the question than sit here and be like, oh, who's that bitch? Why the fuck is he talking to her? He's never mentioned her name before.
Right.
Yeah. And then that could lead into an argument because I'm sitting here fuming.
It's crazy to think that people get upset about people's pasts.
Yeah. I appreciate you more because of your past.
Yeah.
Knowing who you once were and who you are now, I'm literally getting the best version of you.
Yeah.
And
You have the best version of me to date.
right, because you're going to change tomorrow and there's going to be
still
more
evolving.
evolution, and I am going to have every best version of you. Yeah.
I think that I'm at, and this is kind of a brag, and you know the difference between confidence and arrogance. I actually have a legit definition for you.
Okay, now I'm ready.
Confidence is knowing that you can do something because you had the life experience that taught you how to do those things.
Okay.
Arrogance is thinking that you can do those things without having the life experience to ever put you in the position to have done those things.
All right. I like that.
Yep. I got that from a book that I'm reading about being a better father, written by a Navy SEAL.
Yeah.
So, and for anybody that would like to read that book, because everybody likes to know what I'm reading, that book is called Raising Men, and it's written by Eric Davis. And the entire book is Navy SEAL interviews and them talking about their family and their children. Why are you looking at me like that?
I'm so attracted to you right now.
Why?
The fact that you're listening to a book about being a better father.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I did on the entire flight back from Vegas.
Really?
Yeah.
You're so hot right now.
I'm trying to find better ways to communicate with our son about monsters and being afraid of things and boo-boos. Like that whole fucking meltdown over the carpet burn when he fell.
Mm-hmm.
I got most of that from that book. There are other things that I've gotten from other books that were about that, but like I almost made myself bleed in front of him just to be like, look, dude, this is going to happen sometimes.
Holy shit.
But you know, it's one of those things that in the moment it wasn't really necessary because he wasn't bleeding. You said road rash,
Right? He had a little bit of redness,
right? But he had that full meltdown, and after he had that meltdown and he calmed down and we talked, he hasn't cried from hurting himself since.
No, he hasn't.
He fell on a cactus. Mm-hmm. He bit his tongue so hard the other night that he almost cried, and he ran out of the room. I need a drink of water to like not cry, and then he came back and he was perfectly fine.
He was good.
But all of those extreme meltdowns over pain has stopped, and it took one conversation.
It did.
So I don't know. I am trying to. There's a fucking dog dick gnat flying around my face. I'm trying to be able to relate to him differently than I was raised.
I appreciate.
So there's things that I'm learning that I was never taught, but that's not a flex or something to brag about. That's just I fucked up my first kid. I wasn't involved the way that I wanted to be. I'm involved now, and I have a grandbaby, and like I should be involved there, but they live in another state, and I don't know the kid, so like I don't have the relationship with my daughter that I want. But it's also because she lives in another state, and the only time we ever talk is in crisis. Like, but I also don't keep up with people every day unless there's a reason to. Like, I don't even text my adopted mother every day. I talk to her once every 2 or 3 weeks when I'm like, hey, I have an update. Like, how's your health? Otherwise, we just go about your life. Like, I don't know. My sister's probably the most consistent person I've ever met that goes about reaching out.
Yeah, she reaches out to me a lot.
She is on it.
And I try my best. Like, I see the effort that she makes. So I do try more than I do with other people to communicate with her, along with your mom. My aunt is somebody, she texts me every morning. So we talk every day because she initiates it. And I definitely do try to keep up. She might receive 1 or 2 text messages a day. Right. But I'm trying. So I get that.
Do you think that disconnect is from lived experiences?
No, I think it is. We as human beings have never been able to keep in touch this way before. It used to be handwritten letters, and it would take weeks for you to get that shit.
Did your parents ever make you lie when the phone rang? Tell them
Yes.
I'm not here. Right. I had to do that all the time.
Oh, yeah.
So like I got very used to not having a connection with my family. My cousin reached out to me. He's getting tattooed Tuesday. My youngest cousin. And he's like, hey man, I'll be at the shop. I'll be there all day if you want to come see me. I'm like, bro, I got meetings. It's actually my birthday. So like I definitely won't be able to go down there. I have other shit I've got going on. But like that's one thing that like he has tried to keep in touch. And he's one of the only family members I have that's not my daughter that I'm blood related to that I will still talk to from time to time. But like he will go out of his way to message me. And I don't think about things like that because I'm not close to any of them.
Yeah.
Like it's just, I don't know. And I think that a lot of that comes down from we were the black sheep of our family growing up. Like my whole family was shunned because of the way that she chose to live. You know what I mean? So
Same.
I don't know.
Same.
But I think that made me disconnected in terms of importance. But I also think that my borderline is a factor in that because I have favorite people. And you have watched me cartwheel through those favorite people. Because I'll be super close to Jeff Graham for 2 or 3 weeks. And I'll be super close to Jordan for 2 or 3 weeks. And then super close to Sean. And then go back to Jordan.
And then Zach. And then...
Right. But that is because I'm getting...
You're getting different things from those people in that time frame.
And I need those things that those people are able to provide in that time. So I'm able to latch on until... Yeah.
I also... It was just me, my mom, and my sister growing up. There was a point where all of the family was cut out. And I do think, now that I'm reflecting on that, I do think that is a contributing factor to the hardships I have maintaining friendships on a regular basis. Not friendships, but relationships on a regular basis.
It's like a learned isolation, right?
It is a learned isolation. It makes me very uncomfortable being on the phone for more than 15 minutes.
I have a hard time being on the phone in public.
I can't be on the phone in public.
Right. So like I put everyone on speakerphone. I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
Everyone goes on speakerphone. So unless it's just you, I'm not taking a phone call. Mm-hmm. So if we're together, speakerphone, I don't give a shit. People can hear whatever they got to say.
Oh, yeah.
My best friend could be like, bro, I just took the biggest shit. And he'd be like, ugh.
Good for him.
Because you got to hear it. Like, I don't care about that. But like, if it's anyone else around me, I'm not making a phone call unless I have AirPods. People don't need to hear my conversations. Mm-hmm. And I get anxiety about it.
Yeah.
Yep. And when I was at the shop full time, every time my phone rang, I'd have to go outside. It's not because I can't hear.
I don't want people hearing what I'm saying.
Right.
You don't need to know my half of the conversation, speculating what's going on in the other line.
And they absolutely will.
They 100%. And then they're going to go to people and be like, oh, you want to know what they said on the phone today?
Yep. Can't believe they said that.
I'm good.
Yep. We side railed.
We did.
Okay.
So back into the email. So she had gone through my computer, phone, social media multiple times. Fast forward to the meeting. I personally didn't look much into the friend's clothing. Sure, it was weird for the season, but it was whatever to me. As the meeting was organized between them and they wanted to know more about As the meeting was organized between them and they wanted to know more about each other and whatnot, I took a neutral stance. I sat between them so it didn't feel or look like a 2v1 for either side.
Okay, there's a whole lot of lying in that.
There really is.
Okay, so before we address any of that, do you think that he really believes this, or do you think he's trying to save face because this email got sent in?
I don't know.
Because I'm going to be real honest, right? Regardless if I was in a relationship, if I had a thing for another woman and that woman showed up and she was half dressed, I would be looking at that shit.
Yeah.
That's normal. That's why we are so big on it's not okay to look at the menu if you're on a diet, because that's the first step to the next step to the next step. So like, that's why I'm so oblivious. I'm not looking at other women. Mm-hmm. It's not a thing. But in the past, if I looked at a woman, thought, damn, she was hot, and then realized she was wearing a mini skirt, I'm going to look. Because I think she's attractive, or there's a physical connection there. Everyone does that. If you are attracted to somebody, you're attracted to me and I'm attracted to you. When you dress a certain way, it don't matter what the fuck's going on. I'm checking you out. And it's the same thing. I put on a white t-shirt today and you're like, your back looks fucking amazing in that shirt. And I know you were looking at my back. You have a physical attraction to somebody and you see them dressed in a way that makes you drawn in, you're going to fucking notice that.
Yep.
So knowing that it was wintertime and there was 10 inches of fucking snow on the ground and she shows up in a mini skirt, you can't...
that shit on purpose.
Yeah, you can't be like, oh, well, they facilitated that, so I didn't even notice it. Shut the fuck up. Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
Right. On the flip coin, I don't look at men.
Right.
I don't notice muscular men. I don't notice dudes walking around without a shirt on. I don't give a fuck. You are what my attention is on.
Right. Same.
If I want to see a muscular man, hey baby, take your shirt off. Do the peck thing.
Yeah. I actually heard that today.
Let me touch your back.
That devotion to each other, though, is what keeps the other things from sinking in.
Right.
So the second part of what I wanted to say was that you sat in between them so that it didn't feel like a 2v1. You sat in between them because that was your answer to sit next to that woman versus sitting next to your woman.
Right. You wanted to sit next to her.
Right.
But you didn't really want to piss off your woman, so you sat in between.
Right. You should have sat on the bed next to your woman.
You should have.
Or not sat down at all.
Yeah.
That would have really been the answer. If you wanted to remain neutral, don't sit down. Mm-hmm. You guys want something to drink? Cool, I'm gonna go get it.
Let me go pick up lunch for us.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to the bathroom and take a shit and just sit on your phone for 25 minutes, and then come back out. Like there's ways that could be handled that is much smoother than trying to mediate by sitting in between them.
That is the end of the conversation for him with that friend. So I also want to touch on, you and her talked about politics for majority of the time that she was there, and your woman just sat there silently, not being a part of this conversation. And there was a break in there where your friend said, you really should know more about politics and be aware of what's going on around you. And you just agreed with her.
Yep.
And then continued carrying on with a conversation of politics that your woman could not be involved in. So it was 2v1 anyway.
Oh, I forgot about the politics thing. And in that scenario, you're right. I also think that there's a way that he could have agreed with that woman about the girl and need to know more about politics and not shit on her.
Right.
Like there could have been a way that conversation could have been had to like soften that whole scenario. And then afterwards they could have sat down and talked about their political affiliations and like had a discussion about that.
I would have rathered her like, hey babe, I didn't realize that you weren't into politics like that.
Right.
This is something we can look into going further.
That's that soft blow, because now you addressed it. You were supportive and you're helping.
I got you.
Right. That's a very different scenario than, yeah, you really should know more about it.
Yeah.
Did he touch on the politics conversation?
No, that's the end of the friend conversation. He moves on to the debt that she was talking about.
That 2v1 statement was really good. That was good.
Thank you.
That was really fucking good. Because that's how she felt.
It is exactly how she felt.
Wow.
Were you able to process?
Yeah, that's a lot. Like, cause I just didn't correlate that. It just didn't. Yeah, you're supposed to be a united front.
You are
as a couple, right? So like
against the world,
right. And granted, they're not married, and so like I feel that way more about married couples than couples. But I also I value marriage differently than a relationship.
I agree.
So that's a thing for me, but I do believe it should be the two of you as a unified front. And if you can't be that, or you're not willing to be that, then why be with that person?
If you're not going to go to bat for them, what's the point?
Right. Are you saying, because to me, that's not, you're my forever, you're my for now.
Bookmark.
Yeah. Yeah. You're okay until something better comes along. Placeholder. It's crazy.
That's like eating Subway when you're really craving Jersey Mike's.
Yeah, it's just not going to do the same thing.
All right. So moving on to the debt portion. I had used credit loans in the past due to various reasons. Firstly, due to low income and needing fast emergency funds, and later purely due to banks not giving a loan due to using credit companies. During the beginning months of our relationship, I had used a credit company once for a small loan. But other than that, I was purely in the process of paying all of it back and cleaning my record for the future. Why I didn't inform her at the start about it was purely 1, embarrassment, and 2, not wanting her to worry about it because it was under control.
1, it's none of her business. When you first start dating, your debt, like when you're in the dating phase, your debt's nobody's business.
Right.
When you're going to move in with each other and you're going to get serious and you have $250,000 worth of debt and a lien against you, that's something you disclose. Like, hey, we may never be able to buy a house together because I have a shit ton of debt and a lien against me, just so you're aware of that moving forward. Like, this could be a problem for us in the future. That's not something you hit on somebody after you've married them.
Right.
However, taking a loan is not a big fucking deal.
Right.
If you're paying the loan back, that's how you build your credit. So I don't understand how that's even a problem.
So let me ask you this. They moved in together after 2 months. At what point, because you're correct in the dating phase, it is nobody's business what is going on because you're still getting to know each other. At what point should they disclose, I have this debt, this is what's going on with that, I've been paying on it for X amount, whatever?
I honestly think that if the relationship, the courting and dating and moving in is proper, it should happen during the moving in phase.
Okay.
Like, I have my own place, you have your own place, and we're talking about living together now. Now is the time to start discussing finances. That would be the most realistic time for that conversation.
Right, logically.
Because you're going to say, okay, well, how much is your mortgage? Well, how much is your rent? Like, because if I own my home and you rent yours and my mortgage payment's $1,200 a month and you're paying $2,000 a month in rent, okay, that's going to save us $800. If you were to actually, I'm sorry, if you were to move in and help me pay that rent, that would save us a lot. It would save you. It would save me. Like, I would only have to come out of pocket $600 now for mortgage instead of 12. You're only coming out $600 a month instead of $2,000 in rent. So like, there's a $1,400 a month savings there, right? So like, those conversations need to happen. Those conversations need to be happening more than just about who's paying what, because now when you come in, are we going to split the bills 50-50? Am I going to support you? Are you going to fucking buy all the food and I pay all the bills? Like, how does that work? At that point, those conversations need to be had. Well, what about the cell phones? You know, do you have credit cards? Are you going to handle all of your own credit card debt, or am I going to help you pay that? Or are you going to help me pay mine? These conversations have to happen because you're establishing
a life together.
Right. We had those conversations before you moved in.
We did.
Because I wanted to know what I was getting into. And I still, even though you've told me, I think at least 4 times now, I still don't remember that shit. Because you're handling your credit. You make sure that your payments are made when they need to be made. I don't have to worry about that shit. But that was all before me. And if you were like, babe, I just want to pay this shit off, I'd be like, okay, give me a month. We'll pay it. Like, it is what it is. But you making those payments is boosting your credit score because you agreed to do the shit. Debt is a normal thing. It's not a good thing. If I could pay everything in cash and never borrow anything and not have to worry about a credit score, that would be ideal. But if you want to own a business and you want to fucking grow and do things, having that credit goes a long way to making sure that things get done in a timely fashion. Because otherwise you have to prove your income and you have to, you know what I mean? There's just a whole lot behind that.
All right.
So my answer to that is before you move in together. If it doesn't happen before you move in together, it needs to happen when an engagement is talked about. Not happening when it's talked about. Because everybody's like, you know, you ever see yourself getting married? Like, people feel those out because nobody wants to ask and be shit on.
Right.
So like when you're asking ring sizes and trying to figure that shit out, like those conversations should be had then at the latest.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I think it should happen before moving in. Even if you guys are 2 months in the dating and you're discussing moving in, that conversation needs to happen.
Right. And here's a really good example of that. So let's say that, and the reason for that, I mean, if I had a lease for a year and I'm 3 months into my lease and I met you 1 month in, so you move in, you've been living with 2 months, so we're 3 months into my lease, and you didn't know that my credit was real fucked up and someone had to co-sign for me to get this apartment, and a year comes up and we go to move and we can't find a place to live after being together for a year because of my credit, that's going to put you in a real fucked up spot where you have to choose between the person you're in love with and living with versus having a place to stay or having this to co-sign. And now you're the one holding the fucking lease and you've got somebody mooching off of you. Like,
yeah,
those conversations are important. You can't just let that shit ride.
Right. And with your name being on the lease, if their credit's fucked up, they can move out at any point, and now you're taking on the whole load of that rent.
Right. Yep.
All right, next point is intimacy. For starters, I am not as much intimacy needing as she is, which is fine. Just I won't be seeking it quite as much. Also, as an intro into the segment and a small peek into my mind at that point, I'd been a smoker for about 12 years when we were 1 year into our relationship, and due to various reasons I decided to quit or switch to vaping.
What does that have to do with anything?
I don't know. Okay. Also, as an intro to this segment and a small peek into my mind. Okay. This coincided with the start of COVID lockdowns and working from home. It meant that over the next 2 years, I took on about 40 pounds. I had been.
That's why. He quit smoking, so he gained weight.
Okay.
I was like, that makes no fucking sense. And I'm over here going, did she complain about him smoking in the email? Like, what is going on? Yeah, he gained weight because he quit smoking.
Okay. I had been lean my whole life, so it meant that I wasn't feeling great in my body or saw myself quite as attractive. Also, during that time, I had a small mental breakdown / crisis over the future and what I should do with my life going forwards.
That happens.
This meant that I closed myself off trying to figure out how and why I was feeling the way that I did.
Okay, can we pause?
Yeah.
This is an important one too. I'm gonna have you reread that because I'm gonna forget what I want to say, but I want to address the weight thing first.
Okay.
I have body dysmorphia, like truly have body dysmorphia, and so much so that when I look back on the TikToks that I was posting a year ago without my shirt on, I felt fat. Which is why everything was from here up. All you could see was my traps because I thought that was the only part of my body that looked decent. And I have photos of me fucking huge with a V-taper in my crotch, like jacked. And in my head, looking in the mirror when I was sending you those pictures, I felt fat. And we had lots of discussions about that. So I understand the not wanting to take your clothes off. However, you love the way that I look, even when I'm squishy. Right now, 40 pounds overweight, you think that I'm the hottest shit ever. And because you feed that, I have no problems taking my clothes off in front of you because I know that you're not judging me. And if you really thought I was gaining weight, I believe you would be like, okay, you really need to stop now. Like, and we would just diet and get back to it, which we've had those conversations a lot anyways. So I understand the not wanting to take your clothes off and feeling insecure about yourself because you gained a bunch of weight. Some of us have lived that our entire lives. But if you are about it with your person and you truly believe that they love you and like that, the physical like appearance doesn't matter as much to them as it does to you, you have to check that. Men and women. And I know it's hard. It's not fucking easy, but that's a selfishness. That really is. Your insecurity is a selfishness and it's a detriment to your partner.
Yeah.
What was the other thing that you said? Because the other thing was the more important one.
Okay, well, before we jump into that, I also want to touch on, I also have body dysmorphia. And when I was at my highest weight, I had back fat that came up around my back onto my side and then turned into stomach fat. That was one of the most insecure parts of my body. It was fucking 360 fat, and I hated it. And now, me at my lowest weight, I still see myself that way in the mirror.
Right. That's body dysmorphia by definition.
Right. There are times where I'm sitting and I can feel it. It's not there anymore. It's gone, but I can still feel it. There are days where I want to walk around full-fledged, like fucking Victorian era, 4 different layers of clothes. I don't want you to see me.
Yeah.
You make me feel like I'm sexy as hell, though.
Right.
Why would I deprive my husband of one of the things he enjoys looking at most? Because in my mind, I got me fucked up.
Yeah. A lot of people have a hard time separating that.
Yeah.
Because it's a selfishness and an insecurity. I think that we're lucky in that aspect. I'm glad that we've both worked through that shit because I don't have a problem. Like I'm not going to sit around the house without a shirt on because I don't like looking at me. So like that's a different scenario. But like when it's playtime, if you were not attracted to me, we wouldn't be doing that. It's common sense.
That's fact. I have stopped having intercourse with people I'm not attracted to anymore.
It happens, right? So like, I don't know. I guess that's all I got on that one. I felt the need to say it.
I agree. I also want to add on that why would I deprive myself of the affection you want to give me?
Right. You're cock blocking yourself.
Right. It makes me feel good knowing that you are still attracted to me. So why would I shut that down just because I'm having a little bit of a bad body day in my mind?
Yep. Makes sense.
Yeah.
What was the second part of that?
So the second part of that, also during that time, I had a small mental breakdown / crisis over the future and what I should do with my life going forward.
Okay, that was all I needed.
Okay.
So that is something that everyone goes through, the existential crisis of not knowing. I had a mental breakdown at 25, like full on, like ready to be Baker acted, crazy breakdown. that whole scenario is normal. You're going to get to a point in your life where you're like, oh my God, I should be so much further along than I am.
Or I have no purpose.
What do I do? Like, I don't have any skills. There's fucking people depending on me. I'm worthless. Like, that shit happens. A lot of people go through that shit. And it's not an easy thing. So, like, that's normal. When you're with somebody, you lean on them in those moments to let them know what you're going through so that you can get it out. It's the whole purpose of having a teammate and a partnership. And, like, if you're going through that and you're not capable of talking to your person, you've got the wrong fucking person.
Yeah.
I come to you about everything. I could have fucking a skin tag on my butthole. No shame. Babe, there's something going on. I need you to look at my butthole.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody, come look at my butthole. I just wanted to say butthole again.
I also tell you everything. I texted you while we were in Vegas that I farted on the balcony and giggled and then realized that there was somebody on the other side of the wall just silent and they heard all of it. Yeah.
But we also come to each other when we're having really bad fucking days. And it doesn't matter what kicked it off. It could have been something that I did and you still come to me about it. Like, I'm having a hard time because of this. That is how we problem solve. It's how we work through things together. And again, there's a trust. I actually had somebody on one of my TikToks today say that I was a toxic individual because I said in one of the last episodes or previous episodes that men need to suck it up and quit being pussies.
Are you serious?
He's like, it was a guy, and he's like, way to cultivate that toxic mindset for men that it's not okay to talk about your feelings. And I'm like, you must be fucking new here.
Right.
Because mental health is a huge part of our podcast. And like, I was getting ready to respond to him, but when it comes down to it, there are men out there who need to suck it the fuck up.
I agree.
Like, there is a time and place to process your shit, and there's a time and place to fucking pick yourself up and worry about that later.
I agree with that. And I agree with that towards women. Stop being a pussy. Suck it up. You have children depending on you. You have a household depending on you. You have a husband or a wife looking to you. There is a time and a place to process things and break down.
So let's tie all of that together then, because of what we just said and what I said prior about needing to lean on somebody. If I'm leaning on you because I'm going through it and you're like, you listen for a little bit and go, okay, what are you going to do about it? Because that real shit, I say that to her all the time. What are you going to do about it? You're venting. You obviously got to get it out. So what's next? People get real upset over that shit. Most of the world gets upset when you say shit like that because they don't have the accountability we have. But if you say some shit like that to me and I'm like, I don't know. And you're like, well, what about? And we start problem solving. We're a team.
Yeah.
We're Bonnie and Clyde.
That's happened.
We do it all the fucking time because there are times that I am so overwhelmed. I don't want to make decisions. You've asked me questions and I'm like, I'm done working today. Like my brain is done. I just want to sit down. You okay, babe? I got you. And everything is handled. You do everything for the rest of the night. I don't have to think at all.
Yeah.
Until bedtime, and you're like, do you want to go to bed? And that's the next thing that I have to think about. I'm not picking the TV shows. I'm picking dinner. I'm a zombie until it's time to go to bed because I'm fucking maxed out. But if I didn't have that with you and I had to continue to make decisions, my life would be a whole lot more stressful. That teamwork is why I'm able to lean on you. So if you can't lean on your person, again, you're with the wrong fucking person.
Yeah. Those days where you say you're done working, when I am making a decision, example with money, I always come to you before I spend an X amount of money. If you tell me I'm done working for the day, you are passing the fucking baton off to me.
Right.
I am now the decision maker for the rest of the evening. And I know everything that I am doing, you are going to trust me to make a good choice. And if it's not a good choice and there's a little bit of fallout, it's a lesson learned. And next time, now I'm a little bit stronger.
Yeah. I mean, even if there's a fallout, it's not the end of the world.
Right.
I'll worry about that putting a fire out another day.
Right, but that's a lesson learned.
Yep. I think that in this kind of a brag, I guess, but we are very good in that aspect because you know that when I'm starting to get done, like you can see it.
Yeah, I can.
We've gotten really good about reading each other too. So
back into the email. Gained 40 pounds, had been lean the whole life. Didn't find himself quite attractive. Breakdown in crisis, not knowing who they were, the future. While I don't think it was healthy for the relationship or even the best way to approach it, it was the only way I knew how. This meant, yes, our intimacy faded a fair bit. In regards to pornography or pornographic games, I personally see self-pleasuring as completely different to sex. While sex is very intimate and takes both mental and physical energy, self-pleasuring, on the other hand, feels more like Control-Alt-Delete for my brain when it gets overwhelmed. I'm processing a lot. That's so much isolation. That's avoidant.
Yeah, he could also lean on his woman and be like, "Hey, I'm under a whole lot of stress. I need you to take care of me."
Right. That's what I would expect.
We can have sexual intimacy and not have that emotional drain. It is okay for a woman to please their man every once in a while and the man not have to worry about it or be emotionally invested.
Right.
Quickies are exactly that. Sometimes you just need to bang it out and call it a day. I don't know. I think I just view that differently because I don't want to waste that. I'd rather there be build up for days than to waste it. You know what I mean? Like I would rather have that sexual tension.
It's funner with that tension.
It is.
So back into the email. Now, tons and tons is a bit of an overreaction. And while I was at times had a larger amount, 10 to 20 games maybe, I didn't play them all. But this is all besides the point. As time had gone on, we had talked about it several times. I've used or played them less and less, but now they have pretty much fully disappeared from my life.
Okay, so he corrected the problem.
Yeah.
Wait, did he say pretty much?
He said pretty much have fully disappeared from
So
my
they
life.
haven't. So they haven't.
If you still have a game, that
It hasn't.
you have the game.
Right. Pretty much is not the same thing as they have been removed.
Right.
Okay. Verbiage matters.
It really does. In terms of her dressing up, sure, I would look and feel attracted and so on, but usually this would happen either during the time I was working or in the middle of a fairly infrequent gaming session with friends. This meant that while sometimes I'd turn her down due to mental issues or just not being in the mood, other times it was just at a poor time.
He put video games over his woman. Because part of that was work and part of that was while he was playing video games with his friends. So his video game time is more of a priority than his relationship is. The people that he plays video games with is more of a priority than his woman is. This is not the people that you need to be with. Like, you guys are not meant for each other. If this is your relationship, you're with the wrong fucking person.
Yeah, you should get with a gaming chick.
Right.
And one that actually games, not one that does it just for attention from men. I am going to double advocate this though, right? He said it's an infrequent gaming session with his friends.
I thought you said frequent.
Infrequent.
Oh, okay. I heard frequent.
Okay. So not devil's advocate then. Maybe devil, whatever this is. So he says infrequent gaming sessions with friends. So say once a month. There's one night, once a month, he gets with all of his friends. They're able to get their schedules lined up. And they're able to play for 3 or 4 hours. And that is the one time a month she tries and gets super dressed and dolled up.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
It is a problem. So there's a lot in that. That is absolutely a fucking problem.
Mm-hmm.
But there's also something to be said in that, and that she's trying to take him away from that and take him away from his friends instead of allowing him to have his once a month fucking hobby.
It's an isolation thing.
That's a fucking problem. That's a huge issue. Huge issue.
Right.
She didn't say that.
Right.
So she omitted the fucking, I got dressed up on his one night a week where he plays games with his friends and I wanted to take him away from that.
Right. If he's doing it on a Saturday, do it on a Sunday.
Right. You could have done that. And you could have done it before he got on the game and he could have got on that game super fucking relaxed. And you both could have been satisfied, but you waited because it wasn't about the intimacy. It was about you taking him away from the video game.
Yeah.
That's a fucking problem.
It is.
That's dirty. I don't like that.
I view that as a manipulation tactic. You're
100%.
using your body to try to source attention.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. That's dirty. that is absolutely fucking dirty.
I feel, where is it at? I feel that over the last 1 to 2 years it has gotten better as I've gotten better mentally and also through reflection that she has a right to feel a bit neglected or alone and I want to improve it. Moving on to tasks. For clarity, this and the intimacy part overlap. Firstly, to my defense, she is a much, much, much better cook than I am, and my cooking ability is limited to like 3 to 4 dishes that I feel I do well. So in that terms, yes, cooking was largely left to her. Now, I largely agree that it was not balanced and I should have helped out more during that time. Sometimes I would forget that she asked me to do something, and sometimes her short patience at the time ran out. Like she asked me to take the clothes out of the washing machine and put them to dry, and if I had done it in the next 15 minutes or so, she would do it herself. I would also do it myself. When you leave clothes sitting in a washer for a delayed period of time, they're going to smell like mildew.
Yep.
You have to run the cycle again. You're wasting water. That is something that does have to be done in a timely fashion.
Right.
In terms of vacuuming or washing the floors, we just have very different standards due to the situations we grew up in. Meaning I would feel that the apartment is reasonably clean while she felt the need to clean it.
I don't remember there being anything about him cooking. I thought it was a dishes thing.
I think it was also a dishes thing. I'm scrolling back up.
Food and dishes? I don't remember the food thing. I don't see a problem with the man not cooking. If he's got 3 to 4 dishes in his repertoire of meals,
right,
and she doesn't want any of those, we're fucking door dashing, bro. Like, I don't know. There's a whole lot of stupid shit on our TikTok today over the fact that you cook all the time and I don't cook. I can cook.
You certainly can
I'm actually
cook.
good at cooking, but I'm not fucking doing that.
Right.
And if you weren't here and I wasn't married, I would DoorDash every meal I fucking ate. You know why? Because I can fucking afford it. Mm-hmm. I'm not washing dishes. I'm throwing all that shit in the recycle bin. Somebody else is cooking my meals. I'm not fucking doing that.
It's crazy that if it were the other way around and I haven't cooked our whole relationship, women would be applauding me.
Yeah, they would. Yep.
Crazy. Cooking is a passion for me.
I know it is.
I love making meals and trying new recipes and seeing what you like and hearing you go, babe, you fucking nailed this.
Yeah. When you go, try this. Try it. Try this.
I bring you spoons. I do.
can tell you're excited about it. Like there's that's a way to a man's heart is through his stomach. Like that's just the way that goes.
Yeah.
You keep me fed. I've put on 40 pounds since December. Got fat.
I want to say that wasn't due to my cooking. We switched mainly to DoorDash.
Yeah.
A lot of the time. I've stopped cooking. There was a very long durated period of time, whatever it is.
Duration.
Where we were door dashing 3 times a day.
Right, because of time schedules.
Right.
It is what it is. Obviously, if I was worried about it and I was unhappy, I wouldn't be getting fat. I'd be trying to stay in shape to make sure that I could catch people's attention. I'm not doing that. I barely work out. I work out every day, but I go out there and talk to Sean more than I work out. I am doing cardio again, so I'm trying to stay sexy for you, but...
No, you're very sexy to me.
Okay, let's get back to this because I'm holding my pee and we're running out of time.
So I scrolled back up. I didn't see anything mention cooking. She did mention dishes, taking out the garbage, that kind of thing.
So I think maybe he correlated. Maybe they cook and do dishes.
Okay.
Versus one cooking, one doing dishes, or maybe they have to hand wash. I don't know.
Right. In terms of vacuuming and washing the floors, they grew up. I read that. Overall, I agree with her. The situation was unbalanced, and I even proposed we can do a schedule of all household tasks to balance it out. But as a proposition, it stayed.
Do me as a proposition.
I don't understand.
Either way, he took ownership of that. He's like, yeah, I could have done better. We tried to fix it.
Yeah.
Dude is really on the defensive with all of this. He's having to explain himself because of the way that she wrote the email. It's not like he's giving his side of the story.
Yeah, this is very much
bullet points.
Responding.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Okay. I think I've definitely improved in that regard, and whenever she cleans, I try to help her out as much as I can. I agree with his proposal of a schedule of all the household tasks.
Yep. We talk about that a lot.
Yeah, even if it needs to be like fucking your name on one side, her name on the other.
Stick it to the fridge.
Fuck me. Can you pick that up, please? Thank you.
Yep, stick it to the fridge. We talk about that all the time.
Yes. Women, something that you will have to understand if you implement this is that he will probably not do it to your standard, and you need to be okay with that because he's picking up the slack for you.
Yeah.
Or he's picking up in areas where it's overwhelming your plate. There is always an exchange. You are getting something and you are giving up something. You are giving up your standard to free up 2 hours in your day. Or to free up that mental load that you can no longer handle.
Right.
Yep.
This is obviously still an issue, though. So even though he's saying that they're corrected it, she wouldn't have. Well, maybe she would because she's still harboring shit from fucking 4 years ago.
Right.
But I was going to say that if this got corrected, why bring it up? Like,
Yeah.
why would she address this if has already been fixed?
Right.
Let's put this on pause.
Well,
Because,
this is the last of it.
Okay.
This is the final paragraph. Conclusion/recap. I haven't been a perfect boyfriend or even a great one. I completely understand that. To clarify, I've never had this long of a relationship in my past, so I'm also in unknown waters.
Okay.
I can respect him saying that.
Me too. There's a lot of accountability here, but there's
Right.
also a lot of defensiveness.
There is a lot of defensiveness.
It's exhausting fighting the same battle for 4 years. If things are constantly being brought up and challenged from ages ago, like,
Right.
move the fuck over. Get over it. Like, if you can't get over it, leave.
Right.
4 years is a long fucking time to be mad about something that happened 4 years ago.
Yeah, and if you guys are trying to do this life thing, you're going to have another 40 years.
Yeah.
Actually, 80 years. You guys are...
They're
No,
in their
60.
20s. Yeah.
I'm going to say 60 years. If you and I kept score on things, we would have never made it to this point. The podcast would not be a fucking thing. Both of us have BPD. It'd be a fucking disaster if we just let each other be unhinged all the fucking time.
It would be World War III every day in the house.
Right.
It's just not healthy.
So you have to be able to accept that maybe your perspective of things was warped because of the cognitive bias. Maybe you took it a little too personally. You have to let shit go if you want to be in a happy relationship.
Agreed.
And I want to clarify, that doesn't mean you have to get over somebody cheating on you or somebody verbally abusing you.
The cheating aspect, you absolutely do have to get over that. If
you choose to stay.
If you say, I want to work this out, and you
Yeah.
try to, you do got to get over that shit.
I do agree with that.
Or don't fucking stay. Fuck that. I'm not saying it'll be easy, and I'm not saying you got to get over it in a week. You can harbor that shit, but you need to keep that silent, because while he's trying, or she is trying to fix the cheater's trying to fix things, if it's constantly thrown in their fucking face and
What's
they
the
have to
point?
pay the penance over and over and over again, at what point do you think they're going to go, yeah, this is really how I want to live my life, trying to be better. I'm good. Deuces.
Yeah. I can start with a new slate with somebody else and they won't even have to know that I cheated on you.
Yeah.
I could be a whole new person with them. Never even glance at another fucking person of the opposite sex, and they will never know that I did you dirty because I'm a changed person.
Right. I do believe people can change.
I agree with that. We are the living fucking proof of that. I'm trying to improve myself every day. Sure, sometimes the progress isn't as significant or as fast as she or even I would like, but it's progress nonetheless. I also agree with that.
Yep.
You are pure speculation. Say that you are used to giving other women attention while being in relationships. That is something you now have to unlearn because you've been doing it for 20 plus years.
Yep.
You have had 20 plus years to perfect giving other women attention while you're in a relationship. You now have to perfect not doing that.
Yep. What'd you say to me earlier? You've got the best version of me. And I said, you have the best current version of me because
Right.
I'm not done growing yet. Dude, you're 20, you're in 20s.
Yeah.
You haven't even really been dicked down by life yet. Like, you got a little ways to go. Like,
Oh, yeah.
You got a whole lot of obstacles and a whole lot of shit you've got to overcome. So
Yep. It is super important, ladies, to have grace with your men, especially with men who have been in bad relationship after bad relationship and have been done dirty by so many women. You have to have grace with them, especially if they're trying to be a good man for you. Mm-hmm. We both had issues in the past and done dumb things, but I feel fully committed. I love her. I want to be with her, eventually marry her and have children with her.
says a whole lot.
That really does. It takes a lot for a man to say that, especially in today's day and age.
Yep.
I feel as though we've been through tough times, both personally and between ourselves, and that would make us stronger. Oh, that would make for a stronger communication in the long term for us.
It should, if she's willing to communicate, and so are you.
Willing to let things go, too.
Right. But that communication has to be heard as well as vocalized.
So, final thoughts on this. Have grace with each other. Take accountability. When it comes to gentlemen, recognize your friend was 100% seeking your attention and you 100% gave it to her and you did it in front of your woman.
Yeah, but that was also years ago. So
Right.
This is a situation where you go, you know what, babe, you were right. She admitted that shit, that's what she was doing, and I was fucking duped. I didn't see it that way, but she admitted that that's the way that it was, and now that I know that that's a thing for people, I'm gonna do better.
Right.
That's it. And then actions.
That's that learning. That's that life experience.
Right.
That is
exactly what that is.
But you have to admit it. Right. You have to say, I recognize that I overlooked this and I contributed to the way that you felt in that moment, and I will make sure I never take part in that again.
Yep.
To the woman in this, you have to, like I said, you have to have grace. He is trying. Things are not going to move on your timeline. He is not going to move on your timeline. Gentle reminders are key. There's a lot of course correction in this. Anybody can make anything work as long as they apply themselves to it and want it.
Yeah. They both have a lot of course correcting that needs to be done, though.
I agree.
He needs to take a little more accountability. He's taken some, but he needs to take a little more accountability. He needs to own the shit. Get rid of the friend. I know that they're all close now, but I wouldn't keep her around. That's going to create problems long term.
Either of them.
Right. And be more open with what's going on with you in your head.
Yeah.
It sounds like a lot of the shit that she's bringing up is not relevant. It's things that she hasn't let go of yet. That's the problem. Like,
yes. I'm going to interrupt you. Women harp on things like that because there is an unresolved emotional pain there.
Right.
You're not saying the right things or the right actions are not being done. So you need to ask her, what can I do
to make it right?
To make this right for you?
Yep. This is not an unresolvable situation. I think the biggest thing in all of this is that she's hung up on a lot of shit from the past because he is not taking the actions to correct it. And listening to his email back to us, there was a lot of him having to defend himself.
Yeah.
Which makes me believe that he is already having to be defensive in these conversations with her because
it's been had so many times.
And there's no way for him to improve the situation because even if he said all the right things or felt like he did, and it gets thrown back up in his face 2 months later, like there's no resolution there. We're really fucking going through this again. Like, I don't want to live in fight or flight, and you're making me live that way. Yeah. You guys need to sit down and like hash out the chore list.
Right.
Figure out whose jobs are what and then adhere to those jobs. And then you need to talk about your sex drive and all that shit.
Yes, that definitely needs to be figured out on both ends. Ladies, you do not pick the most inopportune times to try to be sexy with your man. If he has a once a week gaming session with all of his buddies and that's something he really looks forward to and that's the only quality time he gets with his man friends,
let him have that shit.
Let him have it. And men, it's important to make your lady feel wanted. We want to feel sexy. In a relationship, women, in my opinion, should not be getting attention from men outside of that relationship.
I agree.
It is your duty to provide that attention for her. So there are times where you 100% are not fucking feeling it. And if I initiate 9 times out of 10, unless you're really fucking going through it, you're going to do it.
Yeah. Yep.
And it's not I just have to get through this. It's, I got to work myself up to it. So let's kind of like do a little something beforehand and then get into it.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't happen, it's babe, I'm just really not feeling up to it. We've tried for 10 or 15 minutes. It's just one of those fucking days. We'll try again another day. Yeah. And there's never resentment on either end when that happens.
Nope. I'm going to, last thing that I want to get into with this is that, I don't know. He said he put on 40 pounds because he quit smoking. Get your hormones checked.
Yep.
MatrixHormones.com. Felt the new patient say that To Be Better sent you. It'll save you $200. Get your hormones checked. I don't give a fuck that you're under 30 years old. You're going to find a general practitioner who's going to tell you, oh, wait, he's in another state. He's in another country. They're in Estonia.
Yes, I think so.
So if you were in the United States and this is a concern and you've gained weight and you're a male, get your hormones checked. I don't care if you're under 30. There will be general practitioners who tell you not to do it because it's not a problem for you if you're under 30, which is false. Get your blood work done. It won't cost you a whole lot to get your labs work done. Do the initial visit with them. Get your labs read. And if you need to become a patient, become a patient. But at the very least, you will know what's going on internally. I know for myself, when my hormones are imbalanced, my body dysmorphia is a whole lot worse. When my testosterone is low, my depression's way worse. Like there's a whole lot of things that come into that. Hormones are fucking important. Get your blood work done, male or female. MatrixHormones.com. New patient forms. To Be Better in the drop down. Say that we sent you. Save you $200.
Yep.
The other thing that I wanted to do is a shout out our Patreon. I think that I want to start doing like a top tier Patreon like name at the end of our video kind of thing, where we just randomly put 5 names at the end of our videos for our patrons
Okay.
to like give them shout outs on our YouTube.
I'm here for that. I like that.
But we are going to be doing more Patreon content. Peaches is going to be doing a women's segment that is her interviewing other women, and I may get to the point where I'm doing the same thing with men, and it will be Patreon only content. It will never get put on YouTube as full length videos. It will only be clips. And you'll have to join Patreon to see that shit. So if you're a member of Patreon now, you're going to want to stick around. If you're not, now is the time to fucking sign up for that shit.
Yep.
Patreon blurb right now.
Hey guys, if you're seeing this, Chris must have just shouted patron.
Patron!
And patron means that we just got somebody who just subscribed to our Patreon.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know what that is, Patreon is a member-based subscription website that allows us to do early release, live streams, exclusive content, vlogs, and we have our own Discord server that is exclusive to our Patreon community.
That Discord is absolutely insane. It is an ever-growing community of like-minded people who you could say practice what we preach, have implemented the things that we have suggested, and it's working.
Would you go as far as to say that they're getting better?
I'd go as far as saying that they're definitely getting better. So if you have questions, you need unbiased opinions, you don't feel safe going to anybody in your present life, I would highly recommend checking out the Discord.
Yeah. Also, for those of you who don't want to support us financially, that's totally fine. The best thing that you can do in terms of helping us grow this channel is by sharing our content. The more people that see what we do, the more likely it is to get shared, the more people that are going to support what we are doing, the longer we are going to do this. Back to your regular scheduled program. Okay, with that being said, guys, remember you are the author of your own life.
So grab a pen.
And we will see you on the next one.
Bye, guys.